Okay, y'all, so here's a short story time on how my school and the VR&E has put me into $16,000 in educational debt. Okay, I never thought I would have to make a video like this, but I guess this is more for like educational purposes only for any veteran who is deciding on using the VR&E to pay for school and look for employment. So basically, I was in one educational program, Chapter 30, or the GI Bill program, and then I got accepted into the VR&E, or the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program, which is Chapter 31. This year, I got accepted. So I was using one, and then I switched over to the other one. So everything was going good, and then all of a sudden, fast forward. So I got accepted between December, January of this year, like December of last year, January of this year. But the program kicked in, I think, February, right, for the VR&E. So I've only been in it like a couple months. And I actually just got my degree, and I noticed something. So for my June disability paycheck, because I'm getting disability compensation with the VA, I noticed that a good portion of my check was missing. So then I call the VA and I'm trying to investigate like what's going on. Then they say that I have an educational debt. And I'm like, how? Because my school is being paid for by VR&E and all of that. Like, what's going on? So then when I have to get switched over to debt management, and we're doing some digging and stuff like that, and I'm telling her like the process I went from going from one program, the GI Bill program, to VR&E. And then that's where she was like, okay, your school may have messed up. So then she said that my school had canceled all of the classes that I was taking under the GI Bill, which was already paid for and all that stuff. They canceled it as if like I didn't even attend. So that triggered a debt because it showed that I wasn't attending even though I had attended all of those classes. And then the VR&E took over those payments from those classes that was supposedly canceled. So it made it look like I got paid twice, even though I technically didn't. And then not only that, because for some odd reason, for $16,000, like that's an insane amount. But I was getting paid for the substance allowance a significantly less, right? So I was getting paid more for like BAH and all of that for GI Bill. And then when I switched to VR&E, I got paid much less for the substance allowance. So when I did notice I was getting letters earlier, like around February, March, I did get a few letters, which even at where I live at, we don't get mail every day. But I did get a few letters stating that, oh, there's $4,000 to $5,000 worth of debt. And I was like, okay. So then I reached out to my VR&E counselor, and I was like, is this normal to go into debt when you switch from one educational program to another program? She told me no. So then I'm like, okay. And then when I looked in my va.gov portal to see if there were any overpayments or anything, there was nothing, no debt, no nothing that was showing up in the system. Then also with me not receiving mail at my current residence, there was no update stating that, hey, your stuff went from 5,000 to 16. So the original 5,000, 4 or 5,000, I thought that was gone because I had stopped getting letters. So then fast forward to June's disability payment, and I got almost 40% of my check reduced, and that's what triggered me to call the VA. And then that's when I found out that one, I'm in $16,000 of educational benefit debt, and then two, because nothing has been arranged for like a payment arrangement, now they are taking about 40% of my disability check to pay off the $16,000, y'all. And so this is just a warning. with these schools and with sometimes the counselors that you work with, they might not know everything. Okay. And so therefore the veteran is not fully prepared or equipped or know what they're getting themselves into. And had I known that switching programs like that would have caused a debt that I would have never ever switched. I would have been okay with my other degree that I had just earned, and I would have just left the VR&E alone, to be honest with y'all. So now I have to submit a waiver and explain all of this stuff that I didn't even know that I was technically double paid. I didn't understand why my school canceled all my classes that I had actually took and got grades for. So it looked like I didn't even attend classes. And then on top of that, like the VR&E wasn't, there's just a lot of stuff that I didn't know. Okay. So before you go into the VR&E, just know that there is a possibility if you did go use another program. Okay, so that was my case. I was under the GI Bill, so I used another program and switched to the VR&E, and that incurred a debt on my behalf, and now I have to get myself out of it for something that I didn't even know that was going to happen. So yeah, that's my story time, and yeah, just wish me luck that the education office will look at my case and just waive it, because that was never my intent. Nobody goes into this thinking that they're going to have a debt, and nobody wants to be in debt and then have their disability check taken away from them, because now that has now trickled down to affecting other areas in my life. So just so y'all know, this stuff can happen. Maybe I'm one of the first people to share this story. Maybe I'm one of the first that this happened to. I don't know. But just please look at this video and be mindful that if you have used one program and you're switching to VR&E, there is a possibility that you will get into debt. So now I have to see if I can get all this $16,000 waived. And yeah, so yeah, just a heads up.